Hi, welcome to the Rod and Cindy podcast. How we doing this evening?
Good and great. How are you? I didn't know it was evening already. The sun's still up.
Well, the lights are off, so
Oh, your lights?
yeah, the lights are off. You're funny.
Oh my God. Hey Rod, how's it going?
Good. Hi, Cindy. How's it going over your side?
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much. It is actually a beautiful day here in Phoenix. A little teeny bit on the warm side, but really beautiful
Well,
otherwise.
just a little bit. I mean, it's
It's
Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, dry heat. Even when we're approaching Halloween and
Yeah.
that 31st, holiday.
Well, you were born and raised here, right?
Absolutely.
It's really funny thinking about it that we had in South Dakota, we had layers of clothes for our Halloween masks and all this. I mean, everybody looked like the Michelin Man walking around, because so full of
Oh,
clothes because it's usually snowed on Halloween.
dang, that's crazy. I'm sorry to hear that. You probably look like one of those sumo men, huh? Sumo wrestlers, huh? Your big burly chest and you're so tall and
No, no.
you,
You got to remember, I was like 95 pounds a junior in high school.
well, I'm just saying when you put all that other layers on like you were talking,
I
you
know.
probably look like a sumo wrestler.
No, things
No?
didn't fit on me like that.
Oh, okay.
Because you always had to wear my sister's clothes, because it was hand downs then. So everything was just really long for me, or short.
Oh, okay.
It's all right. It's all
But
right. My sister had some really cool clothes I got to wear. So
well, there you go. It's a little awkward, but kind of fun, I'm sure, for
oh yeah,
Halloween. You can always get away with everything on Halloween.
my sister was very well liked by the rest of the family, so she got the good clothes, and I just got the hand downs.
Oh,
Until I got bigger than her, then it was like, oh my gosh,
no more hand-me-downs for you.
nope, no hand downs for me.
But that's what's fun about, that holiday, because you get to put some masks on.
Get
Like,
to play somebody else.
yeah,
It's
and put some
interesting.
real masks on. I'm sure probably 99% of us out there wear a mask there on a daily basis. But on that day, you really get to wear whatever you want to wear and be whoever you want to be. It's kind of fun.
Who were you last year?
Oh my gosh, what was I last year?
Oh, we took your niece and nephew out trick or treating, didn't we?
I think so. Oh, nothing last year, but a
Well,
couple years.
you wore something on your head. I remember that. What was that? I
Oh,
don't remember.
I don't remember either. I know a
It's
couple
like
years ago
cat
I
ears or
was
something.
probably a couple years ago. I know I dressed like an angel.
Yeah.
That was kind of pretty.
Yeah, you took pictures of you praying and everything else.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was really cool. I like those pictures of that.
thank you. All right.
My daughter loves Halloween. She thinks that this should be a national holiday is Halloween because she says it's just a most fantastic time. And that was one of her biggest things as she moved away from Phoenix to go back to South Dakota is because she thinks Halloween has to be cold.
But what happens is you wear all those layers, and then what? You can't even see your costume.
No,
You have to get your costume 20 sizes bigger
absolutely.
than you.
Exactly. Do you remember those plastic masks that we used to get, the little cutouts of the eyes and the
Oh,
little cutout mouth? You
yeah.
couldn't breathe?
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom used to always make her own costumes for us all the time. We were ghosts
Oh,
every year.
that's perfect. All right, so what do we got going on today?
Well, I want to talk about Halloween.
Oh, we just did.
Oh, let's see. Well, I went out to Facebook and I says, hey, you people out on Facebook, if you have some questions for Rod and Cindy, the Rod City podcast, then please send them to us. Oh my gosh, did we get some questions?
Oh, cool.
I had to filter through a lot of these questions now, but we did. And the funny thing is that I'm not tooting our own horn or anything else but we just got ranked number 3 in
Woo-hoo.
the popular podcast for our spirituality podcast.
Oh my gosh,
We
that's
were,
beautifully, lovely, wonderful, awesome, amazing.
I know, and yes, 2 days ago we were actually number 1. I didn't get to see it, but I took a picture on the screenshot of us being number 3. So I am so excited about that.
I'm stoked. I
I
think
am
we
too.
should keep this going and flowing, and
Absolutely.
I think it's a great idea that you ask people for questions because why not?
Well,
We're not smarty pants all the time, but we
no,
might know something or have
right.
experiences
Well, yeah,
and
exactly.
share it.
Or we will know where to find the answer.
There you go. Absolutely.
So 5 minutes ago, I had Cindy the list of questions. Said, here you go. She goes, oh. So there was some really good questions. I kind of filtered through some of them just for time purposes and that. And I didn't write anybody's name down. I didn't think that was fair to write people's names down. Unless you guys want to. Next time when you guys have a question, you send it to us, and then you can either send it to the rodlymanaz@gmail.com, or you can actually just, send us through our Facebook and that questions that. If you want your name on it, just let us know, and we'll put your name on it.
Sounds fair enough.
So here's the number one question. And actually, this was asked by a couple people
Oh, wow.
of all the questions. Is what is making sacred space mean? Making sacred space. What does that mean?
Making sacred space. Sounds pretty deep and important.
Well, understand before we do energy work or anything else that we make sacred space. So when we're opening up in that, we make sacred space.
What does that mean by opening up?
We open the doors up, the windows up. No. Is we're taking our shields down. We're opening ourselves to the outer limits. We're being naked in front of the world, basically.
Oh, dropping that mask I spoke of
that
a
mask
little while
we talked
ago.
about. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
And opening ourselves up to the universe, right?
Absolutely.
Opening the crown chakra and
Absolutely.
our physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, got it.
Shine. Well, some people. I remember somebody telling me one time, opening up means is just letting our inner shine to God. Our inner sun shine back to God, and that's opening up. It's just open ourselves up to the universe,
No.
to help get cleansed and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But you kind of want to make sacred space before you do this. Now, how do you make sacred space, Cindy?
Well, one way is going through the energy Reiki type classes that I went to, and which you were mainly a part of.
Mainly.
We were taught in those classes how to make sacred space. So, with symbols and with sage and, some, I don't even know how to say it, like loving protection and,
Right.
And just, kind of sealing off the walls, if you will, or your surroundings so that nothing that shouldn't be coming in or around us will present itself, so that while we're open to the love and the light and to do our work or whatever it is we're going to do, we can feel open and free and not afraid that anything will attach to us or anything like that, right?
Or feed off us.
Yeah, there you go.
Because only the good of the light may stay.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things that we always say in making sacred spaces, only the good of light may stay. Partly what we do is we use Reiki symbols in each one of the corners, and we drag them around. And we make Reiki symbols on the roof and on the ceiling, I should say, and on the floor. Now, what's really interesting is that I see golden bars come all around and kind of cover off, like in a bird cage almost, set off. That room is now protected by this golden bars. Mm-hmm. Then I see centurions entering each one of the corners to protect that space. Now, this is stuff that I actually see coming into as making sacred space. Now, if you don't know Reiki symbols or anything else, you give love to each one of the corners. You give love and spread the love around, drag it from corner to corner. In other words, love is like have a positive thought, put it in the corner, drag it to the next corner, have another positive thought, drag it to the corner, smear the ceiling with it, floor with it, and consider it being sacred space by love.
Mm-hmm. And I think love, and not only just the words, but the feeling of it, just all in itself, is very strong and powerful.
Oh yeah.
So absolutely. I think it'd be hard to touch that and go through that if you, intuitively put all that type energy in that space.
Absolutely. Love cures all, and love is part of that cures everything. And I think love is an important part of what we do in protectiveness. That if you love something, you protect it.
Absolutely.
And that's if we spread our love all over the place, then we're protecting it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So is making sacred space the same as holding space for somebody?
Yes and probably no. Holding space is just, in my understanding, is, for example, if you have a person laying on the table that you did some energy work with, and you feel like that part of the work is kind of done, and you just want to step back for a little bit and just hold your hands out and kind of beam and energy, but more or less just hold that, kind of like in a bubble, right? You're holding them in a bubble, if you will, to protect them. Um, and holding space could also mean, even long distance wise, if someone is ill and you can't be near their side, you can still send that sacred space to them.
Absolutely. You know, what we're discussing here doesn't mean that this is just our way of thinking. You know, it's not doesn't mean that everybody thinks this way.
Hmm.
You know, I always tell all my students is that when you look at something such as a class or a way of thinking is described, that take what makes sense to you, keep that part. What doesn't make sense to you, just let it go,
Hmm.
because that's the part that you learn from. These
Absolutely.
are good questions. I like this.
Yeah, they are good questions. What's another one?
Oh, next one. Somebody wanted to know the levels of Reiki.
That's a good question for you, Rod. You're the master
Oh,
teacher.
well, there's Reiki 1, there's Reiki 2, there's Reiki 3, which is also ART, which means Advanced Reiki Training. There's Reiki Master, now, which is 4. And that's the way I was taught in Usui way of Reiki, is that there's 4 levels. 1 and 2 are usually taught together or sometimes separated. You don't get any symbols in Reiki 1, but you do in Reiki 2. Reiki 3 is advanced Reiki training, so you learn a little bit more about the symbols. You don't get any symbols in Reiki 3. Then master class, you get more symbols, and you are taught how to attune people. Now, you can't take most of these classes simultaneously, except for 1 and 2. That you have to wait at least 21 days after each class to take another class, because you have to work on yourself. It's a cycle. You have to go through the cycles. You have to work on yourself for 21 days.
Sounds about right. I think that's pretty general with anything. You know, a lot of people say if you're trying to change something, at least go the 21 days. There's something
Right.
magical about that number or that time frame, and so it makes complete sense to me.
Right. I once heard that it takes 21 days to create a habit,
Ah,
and it's part of the habit. But you understand, taking Reiki is life changing. It changes your life. There's in many different ways, and that so you have to be very particular about this. And that 21 days, and that if you cleanse and clear and heal yourself for 21 days, you will have a difference in your life. Your life will be different.
oh, absolutely. And you know, just said something a moment ago that's very important. That when you decide to do, you know, take Reiki classes, you need to be prepared for some changes in your life because a lot of people have, you know, go through these experiences, you know, and these changes, and they may not understand what they are, you know, and it's just you need to be prepared for that.
Oh, absolutely. You know what prepared is an important thing that you just said right there. Is that this isn't something you just come, you do the class, and you're done with, and then you don't. Once you don't, it's embedded in you. It's something that awakens things within you, and you know people need to use it, which is comes to the next question, which is kind of funny. Um, Somebody that listens to us a lot and that they hear me say, Rod talks about walk the walk and talk the talk. What does that mean?
Is that when you walk your dog and talk to them?
No, walk the walk and
Oh,
talk the talk, Cindy.
oh, okay. I was just saying, man, my dog's not going to go walk, and he wants me to hold him.
Your dog's a dragger.
Yeah. Yeah, those are really good words. I go to a practical philosophy school, and it's international, and I actually use those famous words that you use in a writing a report I had to do, and they like that, and even one of the teachers even brought it back up again that evening in class. So do explain what walk the walk and talk the talk means.
Well, you know what it is. I tell you that all the time when walk the walk and talk the talk is.
Well, I know, but you can answer the question.
All right. So, do you want to be the person who you really truly are? You need to walk the walk and talk the talk. That's important, is because we can be, literally, spiritually better than thou, feeling blah, 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 you know, and that which you're not. But if we walk the walk and talk the talk, it's about love. If we want to be a spiritual human being and be in the spiritual realm, that we need to walk the walk and talk the talk. That doesn't mean, and this is my personal opinion, that doesn't mean that we can be rude, judgmental, and mean to people. on the outside. It'd be like going in, saying her prayers, having this great meditation, this wonderful class, and then going and being mean to the waiter or waitress, or being mean to somebody else, or bashing somebody that we've never met, being rude over the internet towards somebody else, having a say that makes somebody else feel bad about it. It's walking the walk, talking the talk. I see so many spiritualist out people out there that, call them spiritual people and they're spiritual this, spiritual that. And I'm not being judgmental and I'm not saying that they're wrong. But if you're not talking nicely about people and caring about people, I don't call that spirituality. That's my personal opinion, though. I didn't say that's what it is that we walk the walk and talk the talk. We don't say, peace be with you, and we love you, and namaste, and all this other things that lightly. We say it for a reason. The master in me meets the master in you. Now, I'm not going to talk bad about you after you leave. I'm not going to be mean to you after you leave, or say mean things about you, or just bring up being rude. There's many different things that people do here that aren't walking the walk and talking the talk. Spirituality is about walking the walk and talking the talk. What we say is what we do.
Absolutely, as you should. You have to, once you come to that awakening and that understanding of spirituality and you feel it within you, you've got to honor that in all aspects about it. I am going to agree with you on that. I'm not going to, say that I love you or give you a healing hug, or say something nice or be positive, as I like to be anyways on a normal basis. But, and then turn around, like you said, or you turn around, whatever, and say something not nice, that just would not be right at all. And, I'm going to throw this in there too. It could be a karma thing too. It could come back and hit me.
Too.
I don't want to travel down that path. I'd like to stay on task with myself and walk the walk and talk the talk. And honestly, when you do, you feel so good inside, and you're doing, your services to humanity out there, in a good, positive way. The way that we were and are and it's supposed to be as human, or excuse me, as beings. As beings, we are beings, on this planet we're human beings, but as beings, that's what we are inside. That's what our soul is all about.
Yep.
Is about, the love and the light and the positive and the good, and all the the light side of everything, if you will.
Right.
So, and there's nothing more that makes you feel good about yourself is when you actually are living that. When you are living that, your life just seems so light and so wonderful, and you enjoy getting up every day, even if you're going to have a crappy day, or even if you end up having a crappy day or a crappy moment, you could still turn that around and go, you know what, I'm going to find a positive in that, or, or I'm just going to go learn from that and just go move forward, and just, make note of it, let's just say. But, or maybe even compliment it and say something on a positive note about it. Maybe even to that person, maybe to help calm them down. Maybe they're having a bad day or something,
Absolutely.
and just a lovely gesture or comment or something can really even help them and have them let them have a good day too. But that goes back to, once again, walking the walk and talking the talk, being that being.
Absolutely. How many times have we eaten out and looked over and saw somebody and was like, oh my gosh, look at her eyes, or look at that person, or whatever else. And I'll walk over there, you walk over, we'll acknowledge them and say how beautiful they look, or something like that. That's a part of humanity, of life, of being. Like you said, the being part of us is everybody is in our life for a reason. And everybody has a reason for everything. There's a contract we have with everybody. Even our exes were in our life for a reason. They got us to a certain point. We need to be grateful for everything that happens to us, our people that are in our lives. We can't be angry about everything that happens. We're not walking the walk or talking the talk. And no, I'm not better than thou, or because of how I say this makes me better than anybody else. That it doesn't. I'm not saying that in any which way, shape, or form. I am who I am because of who I am.
Oh, absolutely. And we can have not so good things happen to us, even from other people or places or things, what have you. And we might feel that not so good feeling inside, I'm gonna throw it out there, anger or frustration or, Rod, one of my frustrations is going through the crossing zone. I have to drive to work through this crossing zone every morning, Monday through Friday, and it hurts my heart and makes me frustrated every morning to see people not going 15 miles per hour. And all I keep thinking of is those babies that are, young children or whatever, going to probably cross the road, and these ding dongs are going not the speed limit. And you know how much that frustrates me. But anyways, on a lighter note,
Ding dongs.
I know they are. I'm sorry, but they are. I'm not sorry.
No, you're not.
Because it does frustrate me. They're doing something wrong. But even with that being said, I still try to, justify within myself some kind of good, I guess, out of something in my day to get over that frustration.
Absolutely. That's interesting. Well, yeah, you are frustrated, and I'm on the phone with you usually when you're crawling through that, and I hear you honking at people going, "Hey, slow down."
Yeah.
But that's part about being aware. Walking the walk and talking the talk is being aware of other people's feelings and that. I know empaths that say I'm an empath, and then turn around and say something rude about somebody. Well, if you're an empath, you're going to feel what that felt like when you said something rude to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
That's not being an empath.
Right.
That's being mean.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I'm not being judgmental to these people or anything else, and I'm not better than them or anything else. I know what it feels like to have righteous in my life, and I know what it feels like to help somebody, and to be there for somebody, and to love somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we do in this world. That's part of walking the walk and talking the talk. Buddha taught us this, Usui taught us in Reiki and that. All these great people, the Lama, and that teach us about love.
Absolutely. And we're not talking about being perfectionists.
Thank you, yes.
We can definitely walk the walk and talk the talk. We're not going to live a perfect life. We're not meant to have a perfect life yet. In our futures, we will. But right now it's about learning. And so again, people are going to frustrate you, but it's something that you have to learn, right? And move forward from it, because there's these reasons why these things happen, but yet you need to also have some sympathetic to whatever it is sometimes too, to still be in your being. But we are not perfect, although we can certainly try to do the best that we can do here.
Absolutely. So did we answer that question, you think?
I hope so. I mean,
it's just a lot of words.
It was, but I hope some good stuff, some good insight.
Well, I think we got some good stuff out too. It's just the bottom line is that we're not saying we're perfect, but this is how we see walk the walk, talk the talk.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not to hurt anybody else. I can't remember that saying that I say with it, but because there's something else that just came through my head. But it's about that is that it has to be for the good of all.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely.
So I think this question was directed to you. This next question.
What?
Is drinking a sin in spirituality?
Oh, come on. That was not very nice. I thought you said you walk the walk and talk the talk.
I do. Hey, I'm just asking it. I didn't say anything.
When I read that question, I don't know how to answer that. I'll be straight up. I mean, I'm looking at it in a spiritual way, and then I'm trying to compare it in a human way and trying to figure out what the difference is. I honestly, not sure how to answer it yet. What is your thoughts on that when you first read that?
Well, you understand where I come from with that. I never was a big drinker or anything else, and I understand that. My rule is if you're going to do energy work, you don't drink. You don't drink before the day before or anything. You don't drink because a part of it is that it cleanses through your body and you start smelling alcohol in somebody when they're sweating, and if energy is coming through this person, that they're going to start smelling this alcohol on a person. That's one thing, but I also think it brings a lower energy. It's just my personal feeling that it brings a lower energy in when you're drinking. It's not bad. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but if you're going to be doing energy work, don't drink. That's my whole thing. Is that I think a drink every once in a while isn't bad, and not to excess. Everything.
Well, it can't be completely all that bad if Jesus could turn water into wine, there's got to be something said about that.
Oh, we gonna go there with that one?
I'm just saying, this is what I've
Really?
learned as a little girl going through church, and all the people talking about it, So
So you're
it
taking
can't be
an
all.
anger-based religion
No, no, no,
and
no.
putting that Jesus made wine out of water.
I'm just saying what I've heard. Okay, these are words that I've heard. Okay,
Okay.
and I can't. So I'm gonna say it can't be all that bad for you. Okay,
All right.
and they have found that even red wine, which that's what was changed from water, is actually a good antioxidant for you. So it can't be all that horrible. Honest, it is like blueberries, antioxidant, or dark chocolate. But of course, everything is in moderation. If we're gonna, talk about it on a human level, but on a spiritual level, it's kind of a tricky question. Again, I'm a little stumped. I don't know how to really answer it, but I'm going to agree with you on the, if you're going to be doing energy work, it's probably not a good idea to, incorporate, alcohol or spirits of those kinds.
I don't know why they got their name spirits.
I don't know.
Spirits.
Probably because when you drink, you see spirits. Oh, maybe you should drink then.
There you go. Pink elephants there. And the reason I was teased you about the angry-based religion, I was just giving you a bad time about that because we're both coming from a religious background ourselves, and everything. And yeah, so I went to communion and I did the same thing, drank the blood of Christ, and that was wine and everything. And it's part of a beautiful ritual. It really is. And there's a ritual too that I believe in. And, just like smoking, that we can say smoking's okay in certain extents if we're trying to better ourselves in a lot of ways. People say, I gotta quit smoking. I just gotta quit smoking. Well, smoking isn't good for your body, and it's been scientifically proven that moderations of everything. And one of the ways I remember a guru telling me about smoking is that he said that if you're smoking, imagine that it's tobacco given to the gods. You're presenting it to the gods in moderations. You don't want to smoke it all up.
Right.
Same thing with alcohol. It's everything in moderations. That they didn't give you a huge glass to drink of, half a bottle of wine to drink during communion. It was just one little small glass of it, the blood of Christ. And
Right.
it's just small doses, everything in moderation. So, I mean, for ceremony, for different things and everything, we can tell ourselves that this is what it is good for and everything. But I mean, my only belief and feeling this is no, we don't drink and give energy work.
Yeah, well, that totally makes sense, though. It really does,
As for it being a sin, I don't believe it is. That's my personal opinion.
I agree.
Opinion of Rod.
I agree. I'm pretty sure all those priests and etceteras, priestess and all those beautiful people, I'm sure they have a glass of wine now and then.
Absolutely.
So I think as far as all that goes, I think we kind of covered that question, right?
I think we're done with it.
I think we're done with
we
it.
beat that one.
Yeah. So it's not a horrible thing, just, again, moderation. But however, if you want to really go down to the core of things, if you want to be a true spiritual person and walking the walk and talk the talk, like in 100+%, then you will not do those things and eat from Mother Earth and organically and drink, delicious water and keep yourself cleansed and pure. That means no refined foods and sugars and all that garbage. So, I mean, it all kind of goes together, if you ask me.
Absolutely.
But anyways.
No, you're right.
But we need to live here on this earth, again, everything in moderation and just enjoy your life.
Absolutely. So this next question, it's really interesting as I got a little backstory on this next question because this actually comes from one of my cousins. And my cousin just finally was listening to our podcast. And my cousin, I love him to death. He's a great man. He's a beautiful soul and everything, but he doesn't quite understand spirituality. And so he's been listening to our podcast, and he saw on Facebook that we were asking for questions then. So when you hear the question, you'll understand the concept of why he's searching for stuff, man.
Well, first of all, I don't mean to interrupt. I just want to say that's really great and wonderful of him, and really cool that he's on like a little bit of a curious boat right now, and
Absolutely.
A little curious cat, and I think that's pretty awesome because that's all it takes sometimes, is that little curiosity, and
Yep. Well, and the funny thing is that he asked me not to mention his name, and I have a lot of cousins, so nobody's going to know which cousin it is. And I'm pretty sure he's probably my only cousin listening to this. So,
all right. Well, what's the cousin's question?
Cousin's question is, do dogs go to heaven?
Why not?
Well, what? I mean, I look at you, you're just like, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to answer the question.
No, I was waiting for you to answer that.
Oh,
do dogs go to heaven,
sorry.
Cindy, do dogs go to heaven?
I didn't know you were directing a question to me. I thought you were just saying in general. Okay, anyways. Of course they do. And it's
the
not
same heaven?
It's a little different. From what I understand, animals go to a collective. So, like, all the dogs go to one collective. I don't know, is it soul base? And cats and etc. So, yes. And they all will come back that much more advanced the next time they come back around.
So, what you're saying is they collective, what they learned from that lifetime, they add to the collective. And so dogs get smarter.
Absolutely. Like my dog Bailey, I give him so much love, so much. It's like ridiculous amount. I've never loved an animal as much as I love him. So guess what? When he dies and goes to that place, he's going to share a lot of love and teach all those other dogs.
Think he came from the collective. I think it was like Hades or something like that.
Hey.
Oh no, his dog loves me.
So, to answer your cousin's question, yes, just not our heaven.
So, in a basis of heaven and earth, and that it depends on what we consider heaven and earth.
Absolutely.
Or heaven and hell.
Absolutely.
So, yes, and I have to agree with you. I believe that too. The collective, that all animals go to the collective.
Mm-hmm.
I have to think it has to do with society and where they're at, of how they are treated, of what they know.
Mm-hmm.
Because I grew up in kind of a wild area, Midwest area, and where the coyotes and wolves and that are very intelligent. They will actually call out farm dogs into their pack and pull them in to get rid of the farm dogs, so they come in and take over and eat the other animals in the farm. And so they're very intelligent. They became really smart.
Oh, absolutely! Every time around. Can I just share something with
about the Bailey?
Well, it sort of is.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
No, something that just talking animals or pets, whatever. Something came to me about my dog, and it's kind of interesting. First of all, he was a rescue from this man and woman. He was going to be euthanized, and so they saw him, thought he was really cute, so they saved him and then fixed him up and put him out there, and then I actually adopted him. And he was only, roughly 3 years old. He's adopted, we don't really know exactly. The thing is I want to say, though, is that I've thought about this many times. He came into this lifetime, whatever his little life was, those first 2 or 3 years, probably abandonment, or, maybe not treated really well, or not treated very kindly, by a certain type person, or like a male or something, I don't know. And then it was like he got a second chance. Like he finished out his karma. Let's just say I don't know. These are my thoughts. Okay, it's like he finished out his karma. Like he paid off his dues from his past life, right? And now he got to be saved and rescued for another chance. And then I have him and we have each other. And I told you I ridiculously love him so much.
I know.
I smooch on him constantly.
Yeah. Get jealous there.
I know, right? Who doesn't? And I just like, God, so he got to have a really yucky beginning of his life, but yet now he's got this beautiful, loving life. My mom and Desiree, this beautiful young lady, lives with us. All of us. He's really good to all of them and all of us, and we love him. He loves us. I'm saying it's just it just I have these thoughts. Like people,
right.
People come into this lifetime. Maybe they're paying back something from before, and I don't know.
Well, trying to say is he's not always good to everybody. If he's on your lap, he's not always good to. Desiree's the only one
Okay,
that
look,
come
I'm
up to
trying
you.
to tell a story here. I'm trying to make a point. Yeah, Desiree is the only one. She's the
Yes,
only one.
I'm being judgmental on that. He's bitten me so many times. He's a good dog. I really like him. And yes, and I agree with you on that story. I really do. That's it has to do with who they are too.
Yeah,
How much intelligence is going to come out is how much we give them.
right.
So very good.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for letting me share that.
No,
It's
you're
just
welcome.
something I
Absolutely.
think about sometimes.
This is your podcast too. It's not just mine.
I know.
Okay. So this is from a little young lady that has just started listening to our podcast.
Oh,
She's just learning a little bit about spirituality. And she had a lot of questions, but I picked one of the questions that she had. She had like 15 questions herself.
oh, bless her heart.
Yeah, and she's probably 14, 15 years old in that age.
Oh, my.
And she's coming out, and she's really trying to understand what spirituality means. And her question was one of the questions is, what is an essence? And I was like, wow. Because some of the questions that she has, here we are. We think sometimes that we just, as we talk, and that it's like people just know what we're talking about. Oh yeah, that essence over there, that this, that, and the other thing. We start saying these names that Metatron, blah blah blah, Usui, Energy, Reiki. People don't get this all the time. People, especially that are just coming out and not really understanding what this is, they don't get it. One of the questions was Namaste, and I actually just sent her back saying it's the master in me, acknowledging the master in you or the person inside. But essence, I told her we'd use that question. Now, to me, in essence, is this beautiful inside of our spirit within us. This is not our personality. This is not our ego.
Is that being?
It's that being within us.
Capital B. Being.
Yep, capital B, being. Part of us stepping aside and allowing the spirit to do its work. And that's the essence of us, of who we are. And that doesn't mean that there's nothing else besides that. I mean, there's a lot of intricate work within the essence of that, but an essence is a being. Being.
A being within the human being.
The human being.
Put the two words together, right? Human and being.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's what an essence is. The essence is basically covers our spirituality. It's the Trinity of all. It's the Holy Spirit within us.
Is that our higher self?
Our higher self.
Is that the voice that we hear in our head sometimes?
Depends. Depends. I've heard some of your voices in your head. No, yes, it's that beautiful voice that's in our head.
Yeah.
It's the one that speaks from our heart.
The one that tells you like something's not right or something
Absolutely.
is right,
Yep,
or
the gut feeling, all that other
helps
stuff.
guide you.
Yep, the instincts, the part of you what you are, and everything.
Now, last podcast I had mentioned about my this lady that I saw walking up the steps to the garden, and I think later learned that she was looking at me as I was looking at her, and I'd seen her many other times. And so we decided, and you helped me because you can see essences, and you helped me to understand that what I was looking at was my essence. She had like stepped away for a moment, right, to show me and guide me to this place.
Right, absolutely.
And so, that's my train of thought. Sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. Well, no, you're on the path of what an essence is, but how you see it and everything else, which led to another question is that do we see it through our third eye, our essence, or just have a knowing? I think most of it is a knowing, but you got to see yours, and I've gotten to see mine, I've got to see yours too. When it's ready, it's showing. The interesting thing is that like yin and yang, dark and white, and that, when dark is seen, it loses its power. When light is seen, it gains its power. So the idea that what we have in the yin and yang is that when you're able to see somebody's essence and explain it to them, it gives them power. When you're able to see the darkness in somebody and tell them about it, it takes away the darkness. It weakens the darkness.
Very good.
So it's a knowing that we have.
Okay, so now the essence, even though I saw this beautiful woman, I've seen something different in you, which I believe is your essence, something I've always seen for, a while. But so is it our perception of what the essence quote unquote looks like? Because if we're a soul, wouldn't that look a little different than like a a body person, like I said, she was a beautiful lady.
Right.
Okay,
Exactly.
so
Well, I
she's
saw
not
her
that
as a
she's not
beautiful
this
lady,
white
too.
light
Right.
that I saw bouncing around. She's like a form.
Right.
And so like I saw your essence as a form. So
That's a
even
good
though it
looking.
was a kid, he's a little
You,
boy.
you always see me as a little boy.
I
Now,
always
what
see.
the heck?
I have no idea why I see
It's
that.
the innocence in me. That's what it is.
Probably. So it's kind of, I think that's a good question just all in itself too, I mean, is it a form or is it a light or is it all the above,
Well, I think especially for us, what we saw that you project. You're a projector. You project your energy in that. I got to see it the same time you did. I know what your essence looked like because you projected. Everybody has a projection the way they want to be seen.
hmm
It's like when the other side comes across the veil and they come in. It's how they want us to see them. If they project themselves as a young person or a younger person or a thing like that.
Yeah,
So
okay,
it's
good.
how you want to be projected.
Okay, and that makes sense because, you're right. We've seen people, like, if they're older,
Right.
when they pass away, but yet when they may come to us, they're like, young 20s or something like that, right? Or some sort
Right.
of younger
Absolutely.
age.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's that concept of that how we project it and how we want to see it. But we also have to understand that none of us see the same things the same way. Like,
Right.
okay, so here's this bottle of water in front of you and that. I can't tell you how you see that bottle of water. I know how I see that bottle of water, but I can't explain to you how you see it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can explain to you how your essence looks, and you explain to me first how your essence looked. And of course, that's exactly how I saw it because there was a projection there. You projected that image that I was watching. Yeah, especially when you're doing Reiki, you become connected. And as you're connected doing something, these projections become more photographic in your mind, and you're seeing and feeling this stuff. And so it's amazing to be able to see and describe the exact same thing somebody else is. Now what you're doing is you're seeing the same thing. You're seeing it how they are seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a manipulation of the mind, basically. Is when you step aside yourself and you become that true one with another person and see that things how they see things. That becomes everything. It's really beautiful because that's why we're supposed to see it.
Right, right.
Everybody with a beautiful heart should be sharing their beautiful heart with everybody so they can see how their beautiful heart sees things.
Of course, absolutely. So then obviously everybody has an essence because we all have a soul.
Right.
And what's even more fascinating is when you have your awakening and you start tapping into who you really are. Because you inside is who you are.
Right.
My name is Cindy, but that's not who I am.
Absolutely.
Or is it Cinderella?
Cinderella. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's a very good question she had. And I, invite her to go within herself
Oh, absolutely.
and try to see and feel who she really is.
Right.
And everybody else out there as well,
And that's what she's working on right now. She really is she's trying to find herself and who she is and where she came from.
Oh, that's so
I
beautiful.
love it. Yep. It was a nice little story that she sent along with the questions and that, which I enjoy reading that too.
Nice.
So this next question, I think this question's for you.
Again?
Yeah, I think all these questions are for you. That so the question is, if green represents the heart in spirituality, what does pink represent?
Well, in spirituality, pink is unconditional love. It too is an innocent color because it's a pastel color. It's a light color. It's also the complementary color to the green because pink is the lighter version of red, right? So
I get it.
yeah, so red and green are their complementary colors, but pink is in the chakra zone area. It still is just as beautiful and strong as the green because it still represents love. It's just an unconditional love in an innocent way.
Right. That's fascinating.
And it's unconditional love for yourself and for others.
So should I wear green shorts when I wear my pink shirt?
Sure, why not?
Well, they're complimentary, you said.
You're complimentary. I don't know if you're gonna get a compliment, but
That's funny because
but you might.
I was trying to get a
Well,
compliment
because
from
think
you.
about it. A flower, has a green stem and a pink flower, right? The flower itself is pink. the
So
stem.
I could be flower.
Nice.
Nice.
We'll call you Daisy for short.
Daisy for short. Oh, that's interesting. Well, that's okay. So that makes sense. Thank you. I think that just answered that question really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. And by the way, Cindy is a color therapist, and she knows this stuff. She helps trust me sometimes. So, just kidding. That
Not
was a
true.
joke. That was a joke.
Yeah, it was.
I can trust myself, I think. So this young man says he dreams about spiders all the time. What does that mean? Now, there's a little bit of a backstory that came with this story. He is a 45-year-old man who lost his job, lost his wife, and lives with his mom now, with his children. And he's going through a little rough time. And that he did say that I could use his name. I'm just not going to use his name. That I'm just going to say use his backstory a little bit. Is that he's going through a rough time. He listens to our podcast all the time, and it gives him meaning. He said, "So, dream about spiders all the time. What does that mean?" He says it wakes him up. He's not scared of spiders. He's never been scared of spiders. But spiders have been on people's dream for a lot. I mean, there's different totems and everything else but one of the things that I have read and studied that about spiders is that means a very feminine power. Spiders mean feminine power. It's all about spider. Like Charlotte's Web even.
Charlotte's Web. I was just
You're
thinking that.
Yeah, that's why. Thank you for helping with that. Is that we see spiders as that femininity, but the power of it. And so I think what he's going on is that he feels the overbearing feminine feeling that he has 2 daughters, lost his wife, and lives with his mom. He's got a lot of female around him, a lot of female energy and everything else, and he kind of feels helpless to all of them. And I hate to say that's his dream is pretty much telling him that you're having a hard time with this. You're having a hard time with your spirituality and with females right now. It's not that he doesn't trust them. He loves every one of them. Every one of them he cares about that. But they are stronger than him right now, even his daughters. And so that's kind of why he's have these dreams of that.
Oh, that's interesting. So his masculinity, let's just say, right, is feeling a little bit depleted.
Absolutely, yes.
And then these women, though, these females and these female energies are around him are a little bit stronger than he is, what you're saying. But I think if he looks at this in a good, positive way, they can certainly help lift him up.
Oh, yes.
And bring him back to balance.
Yep. And I'm glad he told me because, treatment-wise and that to help him and kind of like coaching them is to use that power, use the feminine power, get connected with his feminine power and help him boost him up.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And we all kind of go through this, stuff in our lives, these ups and downs. And,
right.
The strength of a female is pretty powerful. And I believe that these, ladies can certainly help him out a lot. And, I wish him well. And I do believe in my heart, with pink unconditional love, that he will overcome this in the very near future. And he's going to find strength within.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100% too. And he's a good man. Things have been happening to a lot of people lately. And, just people have to understand that there's other people out there that will listen to you. Part of the thing what's going on with him is that very established person that with a family and everything else that he woke up one day and he lost it all.
Wow.
He just lost it. He has no control over anything. and lost his job, lost his wife, lost everything. But she left him with the kids. And the thing is that he's not even capable of dealing with his own children right now. This is happening to other people is that they don't know what's happening to them. And it's part of their awakening. It's part of who they are. In our last podcast, we talked about awakening. And he's asked me about that. He says, is part of what I'm going through my own awakening? And absolutely, it is. He grew up in a very strong religious background, and he's fighting everything because the more he gets depressed and sad about things, the more he can't handle things, the more his mom wants him to go to church. You got to go to church for this. You got to pray to God for this. You got to do this. You got to do that. And he feels like he's pulling away from that. And he feels like he's the biggest sinner there is. And it feels worse.
Mm.
He feels like there's something wrong with him. But he can't work right now. He can't hold a job. He daydreams, he says. He sits at his desk, and he's been a salesperson for a long time. And he'll sit at the desk and just go away for hours. And then, of course, they'll let him go because he's not doing any work. But he doesn't even know where he goes to. And he's not on any drugs or anything else. He just goes away.
So he's not working then, you said?
Nope, not working at all right now.
Wow. What do you think if he did something like a little bit of volunteer work, if he can get into like with the community or like a hospice, doing some sort of humanity work? I wonder if that might help bring him alive a little bit.
That's interesting that you said that because I made that suggestion to him.
No kidding.
Same, we're on the same track. So because it's an energy that he has built up inside him, he doesn't know where to go with it. He has to release that love out. And right now he's feeling overwhelmed and everything else. So partly of sharing himself, serving himself to the community, that I think that would help him so much and make him feel better about himself too.
I think so. And sometimes we get in the dumper, for lack of better words. I think sometimes when we step out of that for just a short bit and look at other people around us, sometimes we realize maybe our stuff really isn't all that bad, that maybe that would give me the courage to go, God, I'm not as bad off as this person. I think I can probably start finding some strength and courage within myself to start bettering myself. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it might take something like that, and I'm not saying that it is okay to feel in this stupor because it's part of our path. But to have some sort of realization at some point, and maybe, like we were saying, volunteering somewhere, if he were to volunteer somewhere and go, wow, okay, well, maybe my life isn't all that bad. That could be an encouragement for him to hopefully, move forward. It sounded like he had everything in his world that was so beautiful and wonderful, and it just came crashing down, and that happens to a lot of people. But gosh darn it, at some point you got to go, I got to live my life too. And, sometimes it just takes something like that will help, go like, wow, okay, my eyes are opening now, I can start seeing some light here.
Absolutely. Well, and you hit it right on the nose there. Is that, through experiences of my own and even some of yours experiences, that we realize that we have to shift our energy. We have to shift our idealism to something else because what's not working now, we can't stay on the same track. Because we're just going to keep going in circles in the same place. We'll end up in the same place. We do the same things over and over. Shift it. Get out there. See it. It reminds me of that little story of Jesus, and the cross. And this guy, it was actually, somebody drew this cartoon. And it showed this guy carrying this big old cross. He's carrying it. And he's like, this is heavy. This is really heavy. And he gets to his destination. He goes to put his cross down. And he looks, and everybody else that had put the cross there already was 3 times, 4 times bigger than his own cross. So his burden that he carried into this room and that wasn't as big as everybody else's, but to him, it felt like it was enormous.
And that's okay.
It is okay. You are absolutely right. You hit it right in the nose that this is okay. And it's kind of cool, though, that how we know what is right and wrong, and we
Well,
know
yeah,
it's
I think it's our own perception of what it is we're going through. And heck yeah, I mean, what might be something so menial to others could be very devastating to, yourself, you know what I'm saying? But again, to just have that hope and that strength, or find that hope and strength within, or, again, go be somewhere and, understand that, wow, okay, I have this hope and strength within,
right.
or see someone who lost their legs and they're running marathons, I mean, that's hope and strength right there,
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
more power to him. And, I have a good feeling that he's
Yeah.
going to be okay in the near future.
It's kind of like you. It's you climb mountains. You run up and down these mountains.
Hmm.
And we have to finish this podcast up because you got to go run a mountain.
Yeah.
But you do. You there's something about you that you are driven to do this,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
something that I can't keep up with you on. You will leave me in the dust every time.
Absolutely.
And but the thing is that we excel in different things we do. We have to find that niche, what helps us. And I know climb mountains help you in so many ways.
Oh yeah, and doing volunteer work, at St. Mary's or anywhere for that matter. I worked at a children's place in volunteer. It made me feel so good inside.
Right.
It brightened my heart, and just made me feel so good that, oh my gosh, these beautiful kids, they're they have these, just horrible disabilities, and yet they're so loving and beautiful, and it brings out the love within yourself, and the appreciation that, what, doggone it, my life really isn't all that bad, and I need to be grateful for what I do have.
Right. Absolutely. Wow. Do you know the time?
About that time.
Can you believe that? We just got through some of the questions that people wanted to ask us, and which is really beautiful. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I love answering these fan questions and everything from your heart. And there is some backstories that come with it, which is fine and everything. I enjoy answering some of these questions.
Yeah, I did too. It was very fun. It was something different, and I encourage more questions. We'll do our best to answer them and have fun answering them in our, own thoughts and ways or
Right.
experiences. And, hopefully we'll be able to reach out to someone else, and they'll be able to, understand or heal from it, or get some good advice, or, what have you from it.
Absolutely.
And I think maybe next time we'll answer some more questions, and I think we would talk about maybe trying to talk about some synchronicities too.
Yeah. Synchronicities. I know
Yeah.
it's funny is that I was looking at the list here, and that part of synchronicity is legs. That's all I see is legs. I was like,
Spider legs?
no.
Oh.
That's a really cool story. You got to tune in next week, and when we come up and tell you about the synchronicity of legs, and it has to do a little bit about Cindy's legs, I think.
Yeah, we're not quite sure, but
We're not sure. But you make your own decision of what you think of that when we talk about the synchronicities of what legs are. We're going to talk a little bit about what sevens and fours mean in synchronicities. The beautiful song "Don't Stop Believing." We're going to talk a little bit about that next week. Birthdays, weddings. We got a lot of stuff to talk about next week in the synchronicities. Wow. And we're going to probably answer a couple questions. We probably won't go as many questions we had this time. We'll probably pick and choose that. Cindy actually thinks that we should actually give a gift away every time we read somebody's question that they have. And so I think Cindy's going to give a free hug away or something. I think
they're called HH, not happy hour, but healing hugs.
Healing hugs. There you go. Yep, it's either a ride in her Mustang or a healing hug. What? But it's yeah, be the winner. I'm just joking. I like to joke around with you.
Yes, you do.
All right, it's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure having you here.
Thanks. It's been fun. Thank you.
We always have fun.
Yeah.
This is something I live for, and I love doing it. We're gonna have many more.
Yeah. So to all of you out there, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this podcast once again. Look forward to answering some more questions, sharing some more experiences. I mean, we can almost write a book with some of our experiences with colored pictures, mind you.
Oh, yes,
Our book would
absolutely.
be more with colored pictures than words. But anyways, thank you all so much, and you have a beautiful, blessed day and week, and just know that I love you, and you are loved unconditionally.
Yes, you are loved. What do I always say? You are loved and I am blessed.
There you go.
You guys have a great night, and thank you very much for tuning in to the Rod and Cindy podcast.